we can kick it off with anybody's questions if they've come with any. I have kind of random tips that have been floating in my mind this week, and I wanted to share those. So we could start however, with wherever. All right, Mary Jo, go for it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember, well, you do obviously remember. So you put the print button on our pages,
Hmm.
and the reason was because it was like there was like double printing on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like the
Okay.
if you just right click and hit print, the
Yeah,
version that comes up looks real crazy.
yeah. Anyway, I tried to print something about Chapter Spot off the National League webpage, and it did the same thing. So before I sent somebody to communications, I wondered if there was like a technical term or phrase to describe, what we went through and what you had to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't actually because this was something that the tech team did. I all I know is that we wanted to make it a more printer friendly version. So the print version that's like the default, um, that obviously didn't work. As trying to print information, it would like have all the links in there. Um,
Right.
so yeah, a more printer friendly version, I
Okay, I
guess.
can use that phrase, but yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Well, thank you.
yeah. Sandra.
Okay, I guess I'm not on mute. So can we just walk through cloning something? Because I post articles. We write, or we have the ability to have a monthly opinion piece in our local paper.
Mhm.
And so it's just so much easier if I can just clone one and then make some modifications. Well, I messed up big time because I must have, I don't know, but I thought I was saving a draft and that ended up being the published version. And so I think I'm not doing cloning right.
Okay. Well, no, let's go through it. And I'll go through a couple of examples because, you know, if you are the author, then you have the ability to clone right off the bat. If you are not the author, you just have to change the author of that content to then have
Mhm.
the ability.
Mhm.
So, all right, let's see here. So this one, sample web, whoops, not what I was trying to do. This one, sample web form, we could see that clone is there.
Mhm.
I'm masquerading as this user, so that's why. But with the others, we obviously don't see the clone ability.
Mhm.
So let me first show you what I would do. And you can do this for multiple, obviously, at a time when you're on manage content. So we change the author, and I think it'll be a full all-inclusive list. So um, just username or email address.
Okay, there
And
you
then
go.
there we go. So, and then
Mhm.
from here, you can clone directly from this, or if you were looking at the page, then we have the link there.
Mhm.
And I would say the biggest clue that you are working with a clone is that you see the title starts with clone of. So that
Mhm.
will be the biggest identifier, in case, you accidentally hit edit draft instead of cloning, you'll know, okay, this is the new clone or it's the current draft that I'm working on. You can, make all your changes you need to, and I always suggest saving it first as a draft. But really it doesn't make a difference. Since you're working within your own site, I'm usually cloning from one site to another, and so I
Mhm.
avoid publishing. But yeah, as a
Okay.
webmaster working in it, you could just go straight to publish. Yeah, so there isn't another way to change the author. You do have to always do it through manage content, but that's the quick and easy way to get the clone ability if you don't have it already.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I did. I didn't save it. I should have just saved the clone as a draft and then started working on it. I started changing it before I did any saving. And I took clone off, and maybe, I don't know, something happened. But what ended up happening is the original content got replaced with the clone. Like it
Huh.
became the new version, and I couldn't get back. It was just weird. I don't know what.
I haven't
Anyway,
seen that one before. I wonder
well, I
if
probably did something
Couldn't you go
crazy.
back and look at previous versions and restore one of those?
you definitely can, like on
Yeah,
the moderate tab.
right.
Um, but let me see. I haven't actually
Not that I've
tested.
ever had to do that or not.
But hey, we gotta figure out all the workarounds. I'm gonna try publishing it and see if it applies it to my clone of. Okay, it does look like it's a separate page because it appended dash
Okay. All
zero
right.
on the end.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, check your moderate tab if in case it was on that original page, and then you can always just play it safe when you do clone a page. Just save it immediately and then go back into it and make your changes after that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Hmm.
Hey, Maurice,
Yeah.
you can, when you're in a draft, you can change the authoring information on that too, right down at the bottom.
Oh,
That's what I was
I mean,
wondering.
that's how I've always done it.
well then there you go. That's even easier.
Carol has her hand up. I'm surprised she has any circulation left.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I,
Carol.
well, I'm leaning on something. I don't know. I don't know how to put the hand up. I've looked all. I know everybody uses
I
the
can't either.
what?
You don't
I
have
can't.
reactions?
It's
Is it,
under
yeah,
reactions.
yeah, is it under reactions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Under
I don't have
reaction?
reaction. I don't
I
have
don't
reaction.
either.
There's like a react, but it depends on the width also. Sometimes you have to click on the more button to see it. But
Oh,
like on
maybe.
mine, there's a heart that says react and it's in there. It's kind of in the middle.
Hmm.
It
Oh,
doesn't.
heart.
It
I see
doesn't
it.
say. It's not on my more.
Do you
Um,
have the heart that says react at the bottom?
no, no, I
It goes
don't.
audio, video, participants, chat, react.
Yeah,
My
that's
bars
what
And
mine.
then
sometimes get
There it
hidden,
is.
so I
Oh
have to
my
put the cursor.
gosh.
I know.
Oh,
Carolyn,
wow.
I love this.
Okay. All right. So, all right. And then you just click on more to get to the hand.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you. I searched all over the place. I didn't go there.
Thank you.
All right.
No
Now
worries.
future.
Now you'll be able to always see it, right?
There you
It's
go.
like it's
Yeah,
weird
Marissa,
how
can,
you just don't
Okay.
see stuff.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
My problem is logging on. It used to be I would just log on, username, password. It would keep me logged in for forever, it seemed like. Then all of a sudden, it was shorter periods of time, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I would log in with my username that I used originally, and it would say, don't recognize password. Okay. So I went through all these things. I finally now have it down to just forgot password. Um, it's then it says request a new password. I do that. I click on that, and then I'll get an email from MyLO with a link that will then take me to another screen to my new password, which I
Hmm.
use the old password that I put in originally, and then I can save that and then I'll be logged in. But I have to go through this process every time I log in.
Um,
Hmm.
And are you the does your browser save your password? Is that how you have it set up? Or are you typing it in every time that you log in, the password?
Well, I think it used to save it. I don't know what happened. I have to type it in every time now, and then it'll say it doesn't recognize it. And
Hmm.
I just decided just to keep the same password because I was changing it. I thought, okay, this is getting me nowhere. I'm just going to use the same password. So what I tried to sign in with, I then put in as my new password, saved it, and it just happens every time.
I am not sure off the bat. We could do a little testing at the end of the session if you wanted to stick around. Um, yeah, I've not heard of this one before, so I'm not sure of any tips on how to, an immediate tip on how to work and like figure that one out. I'm not sure.
Well, I'll stick around at the end. And
Okay.
just one other quick thing, and
Yeah.
I noticed somebody, can't remember who it was, wrote in MyLO they wanted to put the join renew button. And I know quite a while ago it was still an issue. We had exchanged emails, and there was some issue you couldn't do it, but you had to go through IT. And so I'm just curious where we are on that. If we can change the join to join renew.
Yeah. I am still I have not asked our team, but I think I'm at that point where I can no longer make an attempt myself. So I will make that request to them. I think there was another, unless I'm thinking of your email, but I think I saw another league that's looking to do the
Yeah,
same.
let's see. It was, I think I have the email up. Let's see. Oh no, I don't.
No, it's fine.
Um,
I recall.
yeah, it was
Um,
somebody else.
but yeah,
Because that's what
the
reminded me,
join
and I
slash
thought, well,
renew.
I ask about that. So, okay. All right, that's it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Carol. Okay. I don't know if that was a hand from you, Mary Jo. If it was, I just wanted to go over real quick the authoring information. Maddie, you had mentioned that you can change the author from from a new draft, and you are correct. So thank you for bringing that up because I thought it was only through managed content. So same thing we did before. You just search by their username or email address, and upon saving, I think even as a draft, it will stick.
Right.
Um, Mary Jo, I didn't know if you had.
Mary Jo, you're muted.
Um, I was just going to say that, in terms of the cloning, does everybody know just, like if you were doing an event that happens, every month or something, that's a typical way to use it. Does everybody know how to do that? It's real easy. Okay.
Thanks, Mary Jo.
Thank you.
All right, go for it, Mike.
I'll actually just go and change the date on the existing event. I don't have the history, but I don't care.
Yeah, for some things you don't always need the archive, right?
Right.
I've heard of somebody that has a lot of windows open all the time, and sometimes he's editing and gets distracted and he closes the window and he can't remember where it is.
Oh no.
So he has to go to the administrative league menu and bring up managed content so he can figure out where it was.
Smart.
So that's a trick he's learned when he closes the wrong window by mistake.
That is very, very true. Yeah, and managed content, it will always show you um, most recently updated at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it'll show me the clone that I was working on that I didn't save it as anything. So I don't have to redo it again.
And how mature of him to share it with you.
Yes, yes. Oh, by the way, while you're all here, I want to thank all of you. I'm getting kudos from people on how good the website is. So thank you all. You've all had a hand in me grabbing some of your ideas and trying to make it better. So thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you, because you've given us some ideas too.
There you go. All right, Jennifer.
Okay. Now that I know how to do that, how do I get a new page when I use either the join or the league portal, league membership, or the join renew button or the other button at the top, which is not on this page?
You're
How do I
talking
have
about
it? when someone clicks on it, it goes directly to that page. I want it to be a new page so
Gotcha.
that so that it still is open for people when they've renewed their membership and they want to come back to the home to our page.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, this one, I definitely get what you're saying. It because these buttons are globally set, they're set for the entire website, it would have to be a change across all of MyLO. And so, um, if since this is something that you would just like to do, maybe one of my little random tips could help in this. The reason that it opens in the same tab is because, well, that's not a good example. I thought this was the portal button. Let's just or I'm going to add my portal button so that we can actually see it as you're describing it. Let me find my member portal buttons. Okay, I'm going to turn on my global membership button and let's publish that. So the way the default button is, it opens in the same tab, and because it is at lwv.org, the same that we are at, although the only difference, portal and we have my, but they are at the same domain. So the system, the MyLO system, recognizes it as an internal link and opens it in the same tab. The workaround that I was thinking, instead of using our built-in button here in the sidebar, I would suggest creating your own button. And let me make this bigger so we can actually see the text box. There we go. I'm just going to get rid of that there. LWV, oops, let's start over. LWV member portal. So the little workaround that I'm thinking of, I don't know if you guys have heard of Bitly before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is a free short URL generator that our league uses it quite a bit, because it really does help to provide a short link. And it even on social media, nowadays we see longer links get shortened by these platforms. And so if you provide your own shortened link, um, it prevents the shortening from social media. But so what I would do here, and essentially we're creating this shortened link so that we can trick the MyLO system. The MyLO system will think this is an external link because it will begin with bit.ly. That's how every bit.ly link begins. Um, so I've clicked create a link. I put my destination link. Usually I'll paste it in there because it's much more certain. But we create the link and we get this thing spit out. I could have customized, made my own custom second half of the URL, but totally fine for this example. All right, and then now I want to insert edit link. So we're going to do the little workaround for insert edit link. I opened the tool, I re-highlight my selection again, and then from my toolbar, let's open up that little window again. And I copied the bit.ly link, and we won't need to set any target. And really, now that I'm realizing,
Yeah.
I
You could have done it
just
here.
realized, right? Yeah, I could have just put in open in the new window.
Mhm.
So definitely not
Oh,
necessary.
that's much better.
The bit.ly is not necessary if you're making your own button. But I just realized where it would be helpful. So obviously, let's just leave this one as portal, since we know we can force it to open in a new window. And then when I have this window already open, I like to also set the button
Mhm.
formatting. And when we're working in the sidebar, I also like to center everything just so they all align. But then the other place where you could use the bit.ly, so if you have the purple and gold site, you'll have the buttons up in the right corner. This is where you can, put your bit.ly link. For this URL, the bit.ly that you create, the destination probably won't be portal.lwv.org. It will probably be your own, the specific link to your league's portal form. But either way, as long as it's a bit.ly, then the system is thinking it's an outside link. So let's test that. Did I have it on? I don't think I turned it on. Sorry, let me go back. I changed the URL, but I didn't turn the button on. Let's double check. Add membership link. Okay, yeah. Turn that on, and now that should take over. The URL should take over. Yeah. Okay. Publish that once again. And now this time we see join. If you can see the little preview in the corner, it has bit.ly, and then it assumes it is an outside link. So definitely for the sidebar, not necessary, because you can, you have a little bit more control if you create your own button. But when it comes to your purple and gold button in the header, the join button specifically, yeah, I would suggest the bit.ly workaround if you wanted it to open in a new window.
Perfect.
Oh,
So
here's that other
when
button.
when we've got the league portal on the left, the other button, then we could do a bit.ly there too, huh?
The button on the left, you wouldn't need to if you created it like I did, where instead of using the built-in button, you just create your own. Then you can say when you're inserting the link, it will ask you what target you would like to set, and you can say open this in a new window.
Even for the one on the top? Oh, because if we put it on the side, then the top is also going to open in the same place?
No,
Because we don't have it on the side.
Oh, okay. Then you don't have to worry about the manually created button. If you're just wondering about this join button, then yeah, I would suggest the bit.ly workaround just so that the system thinks, oh, this is an external link. And that will work with any MyLO link, any the portal links. Yeah, as long as it's a lwv.org domain, the system just assumes it's all in the same website.
Okay. Even for the one on the left.
Yes, but
No,
then
no, no. I am sorry.
for
Top left. Top left. You
yes,
don't have
that
it
one.
there.
Yeah, I don't have it on this site. Let me see if I can find one that does.
We do.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this does open in the same.
Yes.
Maybe at least for that one I can ask. I just don't want to change too much across the
No.
entire site, but I think um that makes sense. We'll see how that should be rather easy to have open in a new tab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would prefer that too.
Okay.
Yeah. For both the top ones.
Yeah.
I bet you you'd have a lot of people who are interested. A lot of leagues interested.
Well, the one on the
On the
um
top.
yeah, that one on the left I will inquire about, but this one here I would not I'm not gonna have them change it globally just because you have the ability to put whatever URL there. And
Got
so
it. Okay.
yeah,
So yeah,
it's totally customizable.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Plus,
great.
Bitly is used for other purposes, like if you have an at in your link.
Oh,
You
yes.
helped me about that earlier. I think that's
Yes.
what you were thinking of.
Uh-huh. This is, yeah. Mike had an unusual situation. I don't think I had ever come across that before. It was a URL that had the at symbol in it.
Hmm.
It was specifically a YouTube channel link, and the at symbol was part of their username on YouTube. So it made sense that it would be there, but the MyLO system did not like it and assumed it was an email address, no matter how we inserted it. So I recommended to him to use Bitly. Obviously, that's something that you have access to. We can also help. So I had Mike already on the phone. I just jumped into the MyLO system and created a redirect for him. But this is another way to do that. So if you have that kind of situation, definitely know Bitly would be the like solution for that.
The situation it comes up with is that when you try to insert a link, there's a lot of things that'll tell you when you insert a link, is it an email? Is it a website? They give you different categories. And when you have the @ in there, no matter what category you says, it still thinks it's an email. And that's how it's displayed. So the bit.ly or the redirect is the way around that.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that until I was doing that. A lot of systems recognize it that way.
Right. Yeah. So not a you problem. It is a system thing.
Keeps bit.ly in
Um,
business.
there you go. And then, you can also create QR codes with it too. So definitely check out Bitly if you haven't already.
Now, do you have to sign up for free or
It is free to use. You don't technically need to sign up. We do. I think ours is a paid account. I actually don't know off the top.
okay?
But it is a free service to use. The links and QR codes, all that is able to be used for free. I think you can use it without an account, but since it's free, I would recommend just signing up the account. You might, I think it keeps like a record of your links and things that you generate here.
Maybe they can send me improvements. Sorry.
All right. Any other questions? I'm also going to see if I can scroll through the Google group to see what was last time. Oh, Helen, I just saw your hand. Sorry about that.
I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I was trying to post in my calendar the event for Tuesday, the 29th, the California housing crisis event.
Mm-hmm.
And I just copied and pasted the whole wherever I got it. It was probably from an email, and it had special characters in it.
Uh-huh.
It had like little arrows and, little speaker things instead of bullets in front of the speakers' names.
Okay.
And MyLO would not accept that. I kept coming up with an error. So, I figured out that I needed to take those special characters out. Is that right?
Yes, you were on the money with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's,
Um,
okay.
yeah, it has to do with like the emojis. I think
I guess they were emojis.
we talked about this another session. I can't recall if there was a way we figured out for them to display, maybe through HTML code or Unicode. It was something, but
It's
yeah,
not important to
okay.
display them. There's always a better way.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, you're right on with that because the MyLO system just doesn't support emojis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Feel free to jump in. Okay, I did see in the Google group there was Linda McAteer that also was asking about a join/renew button. Oh, but she's asking about the one on the left. I will definitely respond to her, but we talked about the built-in buttons. I think she's asking about this join/renew button. Um, so I'll show her where those membership button settings are, and it is rather easy to set these either of these buttons up.
Okay.
If anybody was curious, I could go over it now if you wanted to see how to set these up.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what else is in the conversations here on the Google group.
Well, while you're thinking of,
Yeah.
go back to that. Usually when I have a button anywhere and it stays within my league site, I'll open it usually in the same window.
Mm-hmm.
If I go outside the site with a link, like to the league, the portal or somewhere else, I try to open it up in a new window. So that's my rule of thumb, so that my users know when they leave the site that they'll still be able to click on another tab and go back.
Right. Yeah,
So for
I
what it's
agree.
worth.
Yeah, I think that's helpful always to share little tips like that. We're not always thinking of that, but yeah, definitely makes sense. I really like that. Lisa, go for it, please.
Well, two things. One is I was interested in adding that member portal on the side because I went to it. It looks
Yeah.
like you just say yes, and then I hit publish, and there nothing was there. And I don't know if it's because we have other stuff in the sidebar that is coded in there, and if that's kind of overriding that space.
Huh, that's funky that it didn't show up at all. It might be, is it possible that it's below all the content you have in your sidebar, or it just was not there at all?
It was not there at all.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like one of those,
Hmm.
weird things that it like takes a hot minute. I wouldn't think
Not
so.
usually, yeah, and especially since you published it, you should you should see it immediately. Only if you saved it as a draft, you would not see it, but if it's published, then it would show up there.
And you just go to advanced settings and then scroll down and then add global membership button inside bar and hit on
Hmm. Hmm.
and then publish, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that a second time just in case. Because it would be nice. Oh,
Yeah.
and then it's there. I swear I while y'all were just talking and I said, "Ooh, I didn't know about that." And I went to go do it because I put our candid gold transparency and it's like so now that's that and now the member portal is right
Okay,
underneath it.
good. It just wanted to show off right
Yeah, no
before you
problem.
asked the question.
My other little tiny question, which was actually why I came on here today, is I'm trying to start doing some like Google ads, and it says that you have to put a, you know, whatever, HTML blah somewhere on the page that you are directing it to. And of course, I'm directing it to our page where we have where you can donate. But it's on our, it's on our whatever. But I don't see where I can add such a thing there. And I
Gotcha.
don't know if you have that kind of intel.
Um, I don't know exactly where it needs you to put it,
Mm.
but you can access the HTML on any page. So
Okay.
let's just, for the example's sake, I'm using my donate page too.
Yeah.
So, I guess the higher up in the body might be recommended, but I'm not sure what it might be telling you on where. But you
Mm,
can always, place it anywhere in here, as long as you set it to full HTML. I'm assuming whatever it is, it probably won't be visible, so it would be okay, to
right.
put it in the body. You could also use a separate body with embed code box and
Oh,
then
and
replace what's there.
okay. I'll try that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but definitely use full HTML wherever you're going to drop it in.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Um, yeah, there weren't too many other issues. There was a question, and I see that the person didn't have an issue with it after a while, that they were getting the connection not private error on their domain. We had another customer that was having this issue, but it was specifically with the www version of their domain. So if you just typed in their domain directly without that, it would go to MyLO. But if you typed in www first, it would say connection not private, um, and lead to that error page. So they are with Network Solutions. I think that this issue that they were having really was specific to Network Solutions. Um, and our tech team recommended using web or domain forwarding. So with Network Solutions, uh, you don't have domain forwarding included, not for free at least. So the recommendation was to either sign up with Network Solutions, the domain forwarding service, or um, transfer your domain to a new registrar that has free domain forwarding. So if your league is going through that, I'm going to drop this in the chat in case it might be helpful, especially if your domain is coming up for renewal. That would be a perfect time to consider if you do need to transfer to make it happen at that time, essentially saving yourself the renewal charge and putting that towards the transfer. But domain forwarding is really the most reliable because then we don't have to make any SSL certificate configurations. Um, the domain is more trusted in that way. Connie.
Hi, that was me that had the domain problem or
Okay.
the private connection.
Yeah.
And I was using bookmarks. Like I just click on the same bookmark every single time I access the website.
Hmm.
And then when I got that error, I checked Safari too, because I typically use Chrome. Um, and I was getting the same error there, also with a bookmark. Um, so I don't know whether the bookmark uses www or the
Just the
shortened.
domain by itself. Hmm.
Right. But eventually it stopped doing that. So I don't know what it was.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is a funky one. But if it comes up again, yeah, definitely let us know. Because I can always ask our tech team again to see if it's any different, or maybe we might need to see how your domain is currently configured too. That'll help.
Yeah. And I'll pass on the forwarding information to our tech person.
Awesome. Cool. Mary Jo.
Our tech person, eh? That's nice. Um, I'm teasing. So this conversation reminded me that I've seen a lot lately, again, of all these Russians trying to get at our website. I don't know if other people have that issue or, you know.
Of receiving
Yeah,
messages through your
yeah,
contact forms.
yeah. It seems to happen sporadically. I don't
I
know.
I will ask our tech team again, because technically it's not spam. We have, spam filters and ways for essentially bots to get like trapped and not be able to submit a message. So I will double check um, to see what our current, securities are on that, and if there's any beefing up we can do.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we had 11 today. Most of them were in a foreign alphabet. So I just delete them.
We had something like that happen with an event. Decided to use Eventbrite for something we hadn't before. And I don't know, we didn't click the right buttons. And suddenly within like a day, the event was sold out.
Oh,
We
wow.
knew that that was not the case. Like our planning person had set it for like 200 or whatever, and suddenly it was full. And it was all these weird, like auto-generated whatevers. So there was something within Eventbrite that you can limit, and I'm not sure exactly what it was, but that was a quick lesson learned, because of course people are trying to sign up and it's already full. Oh, it's crazy.
Right.
Mm.
A little funky there.
So, Maurice,
Yeah, go for it,
yeah,
man.
I just wanted to add to the previous discussion about the domain forwarding,
Hmm.
because like when we went to using the membership portal, one of the things that happened with us is that for some reason our domain name, our alias for our website
Hmm.
was prefixed by HTTPS, and that caused it to come up as not secure. And actually, if you actually put the HTTP without the S, then it worked. Then
Hmm.
it was fine. And the reason was that uh, our domain name host is not also our names, our name server. If I have that right, I mean there's a disconnect between um, where the forwarding happens and where we have our server, I guess. So, but in any case, that turned out to fix it. I was able to go in and get rid of the S on the membership portal, and then our link worked fine.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of different little weird things about forwarding, but that's what happened to us.
Yes, that is a good point because, we hear about SSL certificates all the time nowadays, and that's where that S comes in.
Mhm.
The beginning of a URL
Security.
always is going to have either HTTP or HTTPS. And being that you as MyLO customers have a unique situation, your domain is really just for for the good looks, and it's to get folks to it, to your website. And once they're here on your website, then we obviously know that the URL changes. And MyLO has that SSL certificate. That's why we have the S. And
Right.
really, that's when you need an SSL certificate. It provides the website and the customer with security. It lets them know that this website is secure. The domain, because it literally is, a vanity domain, it's just to
Right.
to get us to this destination. It's really not necessary to have an SSL certificate for your domain. Um, we definitely do see leagues who do have it because it could be a possible solution to, connection not secure. Um, but it's not a requirement to have essentially for your domain.
Yeah, yeah, and it's coming back to me now. It's like because I'm trying to remember the company that we were using. They got bought. And they changed their name, and so I don't remember who it is now. Was I don't even remember the original one, but in any case, we didn't have a security certificate on the name server, and so when when they would go to our if they put an S on it, then it would come back with this really scary warning that
Right.
this site is probably trying to steal your data and your identity.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then that would discourage people from clicking on it. Yeah, let's go ahead. But as soon as we took off the S, then it was okay to go to this non-secure name server, which then forwarded it to the secure MyLO server,
Right, right.
which was great. But because of on Chapter Spot, they put in the S. So when they clicked on that, then it expected a security certificate,
Right.
which our alias didn't have.
Right.
So,
And so, yeah, and so it makes sense that the browser then assumes, oh, this is a
yeah,
harmful website, even though
right.
technically it is not. But yeah,
But yeah,
that is a good point too to have you guys review your chapter spot buttons. Because the I think aside from the league website, are there other buttons that lead to your website, like a donate or something, or is it just the league website button?
um,
I haven't looked at
I
that
mean
yet.
that's the one that I've had problems with it in the past, and then I think we put that security S record or whatever you gave me some, and that seemed to fix that problem. And we didn't have a problem for a long time until this chapter spot thing. And then what I realized was it appended the HTTPS
Hmm.
onto our alias, which then caused the problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I explicitly put it without the S, then it didn't append anything to it, and then it worked.
Right. So yeah, review your chapter spot information. I think when it comes to changes, is it just making changes within your league's profile in chapter spot, or did you
Yes.
have to? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's rather easy.
I was able to get admin access
Oh,
to our
good.
chapter spot thing, and I could just go in there and change it. Before that, I could not.
Okay. So
But if
admin
yeah,
access will get you there. So that's good at least that you have a little bit more control over it because I know in the last database you had to email roster support. So that is
yeah,
good to know that you have
yeah.
that access.
And I had asked them to do it a couple of times, but this was in the middle of the implementation. So, they never got to it. And I finally said, can I just do it?
Right, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was an admin. And they said, sure.
They probably were glad to give you that
Right.
access.
Right.
One little less thing for them to have to handle. Well, cool. Yeah. Good things about Chapter Spot. All right. Any other questions or comments? Let's see.
I'm impressed with us. Amaris might get an extra 5 minutes. And
Possibly. I mean, we could always just use this time to brag about our website or, talk about something that was a challenge. I mean, we talked about Mike's unique situation with the @ symbol in the
Yeah.
URL. Does anybody else have any funky little things?
I really appreciate hearing those kinds of things because then when we stumble over them, it's like, oh, somebody told me something about that. And then
Right,
it's a thing.
right. That's how I feel about the emojis.
Right.
So yeah, I think the first time I encountered them, I was just like, what is going on? I was quite confused. And I think it was also because I was working with trying to embed like a Facebook post or something, and it had emojis, although I can't recall if I was able to actually see them, um, but it was causing an error. And so once I removed them, it still technically it showed up in the post after publishing, but it just wasn't um, like in the text, and so the
Hmm.
system allowed it.
In my case, I guess I didn't really um, interpret it as an emoji because I usually think of, smiles and all that stuff.
Right.
And yeah,
Yeah, like if it's a rather simple emoji like a little dot, you might not immediately think that
right,
that's an emoji. You probably
right.
think it's just like one of the symbols, but yeah. Once the error comes up, that's when you're like, okay, there's something. You're usually, yeah.
And once you've done it, hopefully you've remembered, although I have forgotten at least once.
Yeah, but you'll remember it quicker than the first time.
Right. We can also go over one of my other tips. Might not be necessary to use that often, but it's called embed responsively. And so, um, it literally just turns whatever embed code you have into a responsive version so that no matter the screen size or the orientation, if it's on a smaller device, we can make it portrait or landscape. Um, Responsive means that it's just going to respond to the dimensions of that screen or that container that it's in. So let me show you, I'll show you what a YouTube video looks like when we just embed it using YouTube's embed code and that versus what it'll look like when we make it responsive. Just need to find a video real quick. Okay. Whoops. Just choosing a random video. I learned this tip from Mary Jo. You right click on the video. Whoops. There we go. Copy embed code. And there's actually a couple of ways that you can embed a YouTube video. So let's first do the HTML way. Okay, I'm actually going to put them at the same time. So with this one, embed responsively, I need to copy the URL. So again, I'm right-clicking copy video URL. And let's plug that in and embed. So it doesn't look like anything in particular now, but we'll plug it in right underneath. And I'll just put something so that, we'll know they're two different videos either way. Um, and sorry, I didn't show you guys the other way to do it. We'll come back after. So let's just check out, just so we can see the difference between the two. We can already tell the one that we embedded is rather large. And I think it's fixed dimensions. That's why it's displaying in the way that it is. And then this one on the bottom, I probably should have put them opposite, but you can kind of tell that it goes to the width of the page. If you follow this line and you come all the way down, it's aligned. Let's inspect the page so that I can show a phone example. So this is supposed to be what it would look like on an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So we see again, the video shrinks down to the size of this container where this top one does not. We have to kind of scroll across the page to see the whole thing. Whereas with this one, it does stay within the full width of the page. And as we, turn the phone, let me zoom out a little bit. Oh, no, that didn't help too much. But the little print symbol does help us tell that it is going right up to the width. So embedresponsively.com is helpful for that. And, there are other types too. So generic iframe, if you just have, I'm trying to think of a situation. If you have other types of embed code that you are realizing aren't, shrinking down or aren't resizing to fit the actual screen of the device it's on, then you could try spitting it into here and seeing what you get. Carol and then Sandra.
Okay, I think you answered my question and I got it. I was wondering how you got to that edit
Yeah,
page and you
right.
answered it.
Oh,
So
okay.
good.
Go for it, Sandra. And I'm dropping the link to that in the chat.
Okay, so you go to this embed responsively, responsive. Anyway,
I do it responsibly too. You probably want to be
so
responsible
you
with it.
go but how do you get to your page? I missed that part. Like
Yeah.
this is a separate website. Okay, so you got a
Mhm.
demo. All right.
So I have my MyLO page
Yes.
on this tab here,
Yes.
and I was already on this page, so I just started a new draft of this one. And I just put it in the body. So full HTML first, and then I plug that all in.
Mm-hmm.
So, Amaris, does this only work for videos or does this work for other things as well?
For other things as well,
Like calendars, for instance.
yeah, I would I would suggest trying the generic iframe if there isn't one option here like actually fits what you're working with. Um, I believe that calendar embed code comes in iframe. I'm not sure off the top of my head though, but it's worth trying. Um, yeah, because I forgot we talked about your issue of the calendar. It might give you a worthwhile result.
Definitely worth a chance, worth it to look at it.
Right. So yeah, if you are dealing with any embed code that you want to have be responsive, it's really nice to have something be responsive if it's like how we saw the embedded one is not. Um, on a computer, it's not as jarring, but on the phone, it's like, whoa, when you are trying to see the video and you're seeing a quarter of it. Um, I think, let me see if I, okay, yeah, even on it playing, it remains the same size. Oh, there's always the ability to watch it on YouTube. But when you have an embedded video, folks are usually wanting to just watch it right there on the page. But yeah, that one, I was
That's
looking in an
cool.
old notebook and I came across it and I was like, I feel like I used to use this a lot. And so I reminded myself on how it was used and I was like, okay, I think this one might be a good one for a MyLO tip.
What was the other site that you were talking about?
Bitly.
Oh, no, I mean
Or
for doing responsiveness. When you said this one and then you gave another name as well.
this was the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay, just the one.
Yeah, yeah,
I misheard then.
no
Well, you
worries.
did mention there were three ways to do it. You showed us two.
Oh yeah,
I
thanks for
understood.
that. So it isn't a responsive option either, but it's a quick way to get the YouTube video into your page. So do I have the no, I didn't copy that. So let's copy the video URL once again. So we saw how um, you can grab the embed code, from the video, and that's one way of getting it onto your page. But another way is using our media library, and there's a web option. So this works with any file that's on the web. So let's say, like if you have um, an image on another website, this is a way to get it into here. You always want to make sure that you're able to use the media before you upload it. But this is a quick and easy way to get it onto your page. Being that the website, or I mean, the video is on YouTube, the system just pulls the title. It assumes that we have permission to use it because they are hosted on YouTube. And then everything else is optional. So I'm just going to go ahead and save. And we always have the option to display it as something else, but we want it to just be the video itself. So when it drops in, it looks like an image, but it's upon saving that you'll see it is a video. Oh,
Oh.
okay, this one is not as bad as the embedded one. I thought it was going to be rather large as well.
This one's smaller.
Yeah. Let's try seeing it on a phone screen again. So being that it started out smaller, it is still within the 800 width of the page, but then we see it does go over a
Responsive.
little bit. Yeah. So this one is not as bad as we saw with the other embedded one, but it's obviously not completely responsive. Once we turn it back this way, we could see. So yeah, a few different ways to get the video, a YouTube or Vimeo video embedded. Um, but if you are going the embed responsively route, then you just use the URL. And I think
That sounds like the
this
one I'd
one,
vote for.
yeah, I think you can use either URL if you copy it, right click and copy from the video, or if you use this watch link. Let's test that actually. Yeah. I, I think the embed code is the same down here. Let's just test that again. Okay, it did change a tiny bit, but as far as the result, you'll still get a responsive result. So whether you, no matter which URL you use. Cool. I'm glad I got those little tips out. Mary Jo.
Yeah.
Well, when you were showing the web and the media library, so sometimes when I'm trying to get a picture, it won't say, uh, PG, whatever it is. It'll say something, like that gives me the idea, oh, this is only on the web. And then I'll try searching to see if, I can get it somewhere else. Anyway, does anybody know what I'm talking about? That sometimes it doesn't, it looks like the picture's only on the web, and you can't get it as a picture, a PGF, or what is it?
Like you wouldn't be able to right click to save it or
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I guess I'm just well, if nobody knows what I'm talking about, it's not going to help. But I was just thinking, I wonder if I put
Oh,
that picture in, well, I don't even know where I'd save it though. Yeah, where in my documents I would even save it. Yeah. But if I were able to save it and then I put it into the media library somehow, oh, I don't know. Never mind.
Usually when I have one on the web or one I can't save as a
Yeah.
picture, I'll use the snipping tool and then just save it that way.
Snipping tool. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Windows.
I know I have it come up sometimes because I'll see it and I think, I didn't ask for that. Thanks,
if
Mike.
I can also show that too. In my toolbar, I have, I guess is the notifications in the right corner. Oh, it opens on the other screen. I wanted to show you guys. Well, it at the bottom of the little kind of tray that comes up, there are a bunch of little tools, and one of them is screen snip. But yeah,
That's
Micah's
it.
right. That's on the Windows. But I think there's like the keyboard command is um, Windows plus print screen,
Yes.
and it will
I was
do
just going
your
to say that that
entire
works
screen.
too.
Yeah,
Oh,
And then you can just resize it or edit it.
and crop it. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
That's old school.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, there's some that you just always want to have in your back pocket, and that is definitely one of those.
I remember when they came out with print screen, that was an instant way you could do manuals a lot better. It was just awesome.
So which key, I'm sorry, which key do you, I forget because I haven't
Uh,
done it in so long.
I think it's
Windows.
Control
On the
12,
window.
isn't it?
I got it. Got it. Thank you.
See,
And
I don't have
what were you
Windows, I do
saying, Mike?
control screen.
Sorry, it's F10 on mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the Windows button?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because on mine, it's the start button.
Okay.
On,
Yeah.
on my keyboard, on my laptop, obviously, it's got a little window on it.
But yeah, that I think that there are, if not different names for the buttons, but also there might even be, I think some of you were saying you use control, so there might be different ways to do it too.
Yes, that's real old school if you start using control
Right.
keys.
Yeah, for me on the keyboard, it's to the left of the Alt button next to the space key.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not control. I've got control function start, which is also the Windows key, Alt, and then the space button going from left to right.
Right. And if you have a function button too, then that might come into play, but maybe not.
Yeah, one of the function buttons probably does it too, but I've never used that for that anyway.
We're so adventuresome.
We want to know how things work.
There you go.
Yes.
All the tips we can get, we'll take.
Well, I learned
Yes.
how to do Control V and Control C a long time ago for
Yes.
copy and paste, and old habits are hard to break.
You mean there's a different way to do it?
Yes, there is.
Is
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
They've been
Control C, Control P.
Yeah.
Yeah, Control P does the print.
Control C, copy.
Control S save.
Right.
Yeah. Control
It
H,
makes sense.
Control
Right.
F.
I love when
Control
they're pretty
Y.
intuitive.
Exactly. I just learned a new thing, which has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. But I was doing a slide projection, and I wanted the PowerPoint to go into projector mode and on my new laptop, and I couldn't get the screens to be the way I wanted. And then I looked it up, and I found out that there's a projector mode on my laptop, and it's just Windows button P, and it just did everything I was trying to do manually for
There
me.
you
It was
go.
great. Now I have a little sticky note on my laptop for future reference.
That one I might have to keep for convention. We're having our state convention coming up.
Yeah, it was like magic. I was trying to get the two screens to do what I, was wanting them to do, and it wouldn't do it. And but the Windows plus P button just magically made everything work.
There you go. Nice. All righty, folks. I think we can call it for today. Thank you so much. Always, we always figure out a way to fill our session time. Carol, if you wanted to stick around. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All
You're
right.
ready. Take
May
care.
1st.
Have a
May
good
1st.
holiday weekend.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you. Good
Thank
seeing
you so
everybody.
much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.